Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I went on a little bit of a spending spree at Estee Lauder recently. So I have got two large bags. One of the things that I got was this year's Blockbuster Gift. So Estee Lauder do this every single year, and it's usually a case of you have to spend a certain amount with the brand to be able to buy this for a certain price. This is worth 400 and something pounds. I'll put the exact amount on the screen, but if you spend £50 with the brand, you can buy this for £90. I know that sounds like a ridiculous statement, like you can get permission to buy this for only £90, but it is generally a very good value for money set to get. However, I had looked at this set in a couple of different retailers and there was never any testers out. You couldn't swatch the products, you couldn't actually see what it was you were signing up for in terms of the colours of the makeup items. The skincare items are obviously from the core line, so if you know Estee Lauder, you know what these are, but I couldn't find anywhere to kind of get a good look at the makeup before I purchased it. So I thought today I would share a little video showing you what I bought, but also showing you the contents of this box and showing you the makeup items swatched and applied. First of all, let's get into an unboxing of what you get in this Blockbuster Gift for 2025. Starting off, here is the bag itself. So it's this polka dot red on red design and it opens at both sides. This is the larger side, so all the products are in this sort of plastic tray which you can take out, and then you've got this as the deeper side of the bag to save and reuse. In this deeper tray you get Advanced Night Cleanser, and this is 75ml. As it says here, you can actually use this AM and PM, although it's from the Advanced Night range. I like this as a second cleanse. It doesn't remove makeup, but it is a nice cleanser. You get the Advanced Night Repair. This is the 30ml, so it is a full size. It is the smallest size you can buy, but it is a full size. I am such a long-term devotee of this, you guys know that. The OG, the hero product, can't live without her. A mini of the Renutritive Hand Cream. This is a 30ml size. The Revitalising Supreme Moisturiser, this is a 15ml, so this is basically a half full size. If the full size is 30ml, you can take this on holiday or whatever, and it's not such a small size that you're going to worry about running out, so a really good size of that. Then you've got a full size of the Advanced Night Repair Eye Cream. I really like this. So this is 15ml, I believe. Don't know where it actually says that, but it is 15ml. I know that from looking at the box, which is the full size of this eye cream. So again, just making this a really good value for money set. You've got two lipsticks, so it's got this spotty design on the front. The other three sides are gold. Reflective, obviously, it's already got fingerprints on it from me just lifting it out. This is the first shade, which is Velvet Ribbon, and it's really pretty with that little bow detailing on the bullet. I will say this feels quite light, quite flimsy, like you can tell this isn't the sort of standard packaging. Second one here, again, same packaging. This one is called Rosy Ribbon. This is more of a nude shade. Bow goes around the back as well. So although I would say like that the actual packaging feels really flimsy, the actual bullets are very, very cute. The last product on this side is your lip gloss. This is in the shade Unwrapped. It's a doe foot applicator. On the other side, this side is much flatter. So you can see there it's like quite shallow. You've also got this pocket in the lid. And in here is where the other products are. You've got this blush stick. This is in the shade Dusty Rose. Again, feels quite light, quite plasticky, you know, not the sort of packaging I feel like I'd be very happy to pay for, but as part of a gift that's already such good value, I'm not really complaining. Got a full size of the Estee Lauder Sumptuous Extreme Mascara. That's the brush for that. And then last but not least, we have the eyeshadow palette. So again, that really cute bow embossed detail with the snowflakes. Quite icy cool tones up here. A little bit warmer, slightly deeper down here, but overall probably, as you would expect when it's a sort of mass market gifting product, neutral tones that most people will get along with. So now that I've shown you what is in it, let me show you how the makeup looks. So I will do swatches and application footage for each of the makeup products. With the eyeshadow palette, I'm going to swatch from this end to that end, so let's get started. Here is the whole palette swatched. The mattes actually swatch really well. They're really, really soft, and I quite like this sort of coppery shimmer. These two I don't think are up to very much. This is the blush stick. This is the shade Dusty Rose. A swatch of that. So that's it, quite sheer. blend it out with the fingers, and let's see if we can build it up. It's almost like a sort of bronzing shade, you know, that like kind of erring on the side of being a bronzer, but kind of just enough of a blush not to be. This is the lipstick in the shade Velvet Ribbon, which I imagine Estee Lauder just loves. Swatch that one there. So that is your bolder sort of classic Christmas red option. And then this is Rosy Ribbon, which is your more neutral shade. And I do think these both tone in really nicely with this sort of, as I said, sort of bronzing shade almost. You know, I think that tones in with both the red and the neutral because they've both got that sort of warm undertone to them. And last but not least, we have got the lip gloss in the shade Unwrapped. That's how that one's swatching. It'll be interesting to see how that applies because it's giving sort of elastoplast vibes. Kind of reminds me of early high school where people were wearing concealer as lipstick for a while. There was a trend of that in the 2000s and that's giving that vibe on that swatch. So we'll see how that actually applies on the mouth. Starting with the application footage, I have got a MAC 217 here. I'm going into the lightest shade of the palette and then taking that all over my lids as a base. I would say although it's a base, it's a slightly darker shade than you'd expect it to be, although do bear in mind that I am exceptionally pale. Then sticking with that 217, I'm going into this slightly darker shade and taking that somewhat into my crease. Because I have hooded eyes, I'm going just a little bit above my natural crease just to create that little bit of depth and definition. To balance that out, I'm just taking a little bit of that same darker shade on a pencil brush and running it slightly under my eyes, mostly under the outer 2/3, not taking it the whole way in. Then to add what I was hoping would be a little bit of sparkle and shimmer, I took a MAC 239, so a flat shader brush, and went into that coppery shade. But as you can see, I'm not really getting anything from it. I then tried it with my finger. I thought maybe like the warmth of the skin would help kind of pick it up. So you can see the eye that I've put it on looks a tinge darker than the eye that I've not put it on, but you're really not getting any impact or payoff in comparison to the swatch. It's not performing like that at all in application. Just to blend it out, I then went into that light shade back on a 217. That kind of did the opposite. I wasn't that impressed with that in the swatch, but I feel like it has helped sort of blend everything out. It's obviously not a wow factor shade, but it's definitely got a little bit more to it than I was maybe giving it credit for swatch wise. I've then gone back to another smaller brush and I'm taking a little bit of that darkest shade just along the lash line, again just to create a little bit of depth and definition. Then on my finger I'm going into that second lightest shade just in the interest of trying as many of the shades as possible and applying that just into the inner corner. Again, it's nothing too kind of wow factor or too bright, but it just softens the inner corner a little bit and brightens it up. Then this is the Estee Lauder Sumptuous Mascara that came in the kit, which I was actually quite impressed with. I'm quite hard to please when it comes to mascara, but I did actually quite like this formula. I didn't feel like it was really messy. It didn't end up all over my eyelids. So I'm showing you here, this is 2 coats on one eye with nothing on the other so that you can see the difference it made. And then this is the mascara close up on both eyes. So yeah, I think of all the makeup items, the mascara actually ended up being the thing I was most impressed by and most excited by, which was very much unexpected. Moving on to the blush stick, I just applied it straight onto the face, and first of all I tried blending it out with a KTG&Q's Spectrum brush. Now it did blend with the brush, but it definitely worked a lot better with my fingers. I don't feel the brush was the way forward for this, and that is a synthetic brush, so it should work with cream formulas. Then I went in and used my finger to pick up the product in the first place and tapped on a little bit more that way to try and build it up a bit. So you can see it does blend out really nicely, but definitely blends better with fingers than with a brush. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to apply the Unwrapped lip gloss just straight to my lips. So I did just put a tiny little bit of lip liner on just the edges to give it that little bit of definition, but as you can see, there's nothing on my actual lips, so the colour of this is not going to be affected. Okay, that is nowhere near as bad as I thought that was going to be. So that is the lip gloss. I would say still too pale for me, but I know I am very pale as a person, so there's probably just not enough contrast there, whereas if you had a deeper skin tone to start with, and you had that contrast, I'm sure this would be really nice. The formula actually feels really lovely, and it smells quite pleasant. So yeah, I feel like for people who are not at my extremely pale end of the spectrum, this will be a nice lip gloss. I don't think it's necessarily for me on its own, but I am going to test the lipsticks now, and I will show you this over the top of the Rosy ribbon, the more neutral one. So we'll see if it looks nicer on me that way. There we go. So I mean, it is what you would expect from sort of mass market gift, you know, a very neutral, easy to wear shade. I feel like now I've got eyes and lips on, I need to actually build this blush up a little bit more, but that aside, yeah, I think this is quite pretty. I don't know if I'd have picked it out of a lineup if it had been on the counter, but I can see how it's a shade that, you know, is going to suit a lot of people and would appeal in a gift that has to appeal to a lot of people. So that is Rosy Ribbon. And now let's go back to that unwrapped lip gloss and see how it looks over the top of, although it's a very neutral lip, like it's a little bit more pumped up than putting this just over the top of my natural lip colour. So there we go. So yeah, it's nice in combination with that. Don't feel for me personally that I would use the lip gloss on its own, but it does layer very nicely over the Rosy Ribbon neutral lipstick. And the last thing that I'm going to share an application with you is the other lipstick. So this is the Velvet Ribbon, the Estee Lauder Velvet Ribbon, not the Lisa Eldridge Velvet Ribbon, which is the sort of classic Christmas red shade. So again, I've got nothing on my lips, I've just taken that last combo off. There we go. So this is another kind of interesting one for the swatch versus the colour in the lip. I feel like from the swatch that I did earlier, I was expecting this to be more of a red. I feel like it's quite a pinky red. I almost thought it looked kind of like a bricky red when I'd swatched it, but it's, yeah, I feel like once it's on the lips it's much more pinky red. Yeah, I feel like on me, I don't even know if I'd fully call it a red. It's yeah, I mean it's like a soft red, you know, it's a wearable red that, again, it's probably the kind of red that you would put in a sort of mass market gift. So that is the Velvet Ribbon lipstick on its own. And then we may as well actually see how the lip gloss layers over this. Although I would say, like, both these lipsticks are a very comfortable satin formula. They're not matte lipsticks, so you don't need a lip gloss. Like, they're not, I mean, you can see like the light reflecting in that already. You can see it's like a wet, dewy lipstick. It is not a matte drying lipstick, so you don't need to put a lip gloss over the top to make it feel comfortable or anything like that. I'm just interested to see how it looks. And there we go, that is the Velvet Ribbon lipstick with the unwrapped lip gloss over the top, and that definitely takes it properly into like pinky territory. So now that you've seen all the makeup items from here in action, let me just give you a couple of thoughts. First of all, I am not going to keep any of these 3 lip products. If you're new to my channel because you're just looking for the swatches of this, I have quite a big collection, and I've been really trying over the last few years to spend a lot less and to try and not be growing my collection quite as much. So for me, although I've stopped growing it at the rate I was growing it, you know, more than a few years ago, been on this consumer journey since 2018 when I did my first no buy year. But although I have been obviously significantly reducing things, one of the things I would say about makeup is it just takes you so long to use, especially if you start with a collection the size of mine. So I have a lot of makeup, and specifically I have a lot of lip products. I don't hate any of these 3, but I feel like I would never reach for any of these over things that I have picked and curated into my makeup collection. So I'm not going to hold on to any of these 3. I'm just going to pass them on to like my younger cousins or something. From the other side of the gift, I've got the mascara, the blush and the eyeshadow palette. Now I am going to keep hold of the mascara. This is the first time that I've used it, so I've got it on today, I'm interested to see how it plays with my Too Faced mascara primer, if that actually makes it a little bit more dramatic, because it's certainly on its own not comparing to my usual lash combo, which is the Too Faced lash primer with, at the moment I'm using the Rum tubing mascara over the top. However, the reason I use a tubing mascara is because I am a smudger. So usually if I put a mascara on, if it's going to smudge on me, it smudges very, very quickly. And as of right now, I don't have any smudging with this mascara. So that immediately makes me interested in it. So I'm going to definitely keep a hold of the mascara, but I am going to, again, just pass the palette and the blush stick on. Now again, the blush stick, it's a nice enough colour, but it's probably not what I would have picked up. I don't mind a cream product, but particularly, I mean, I'm at work 5 days a week, so if I'm doing my makeup for work, I do not get up early in the morning to do it before I leave. I'm doing it on the train. Powder products that I'm applying with a brush are just a lot cleaner than cream products because they do tend to work better with your hands. I think you kind of saw that in the application. This definitely blended out better with fingers. It's not offensive in any way, shape or form, but I just don't feel like it's wowing me. I'm not desperate to keep using it. And again, I have so much blush, so I'm just going to pass that on to somebody who can get a lot more use out of it than I will. And the palette I'm also going to pass on. Again, have loads and loads of eyeshadow. I really don't need any more. I think as well this is pulling really quite warm toned on me, which I don't know if it's really the most flattering. I feel like I'm not loving the way that I'm looking today having put this on. Also, basically that copper shade, I felt like you got no payoff with that, regardless of whether I used a brush or my fingers. I felt like that wasn't showing up at all. It swatched quite nicely, but I mean that's the thing, things can swatch and still not perform. So yeah, although I liked it in the swatch, I didn't really feel it paid off in the eyes. I also think the copper thing's a little bit pre-COVID almost. Like, when was copper last really in? Like, I feel like we've not seen copper for a while. It feels maybe a little bit dated, but maybe that's kind of reflective of like the Estee Lauder customer, and obviously it's a global gift as well, so maybe what feels dated here in the UK is not what feels dated in other countries where this is going to sell. Obviously they'll have done their research. It's made to be mass market to appeal to as many people as possible, so yeah, I'm sure they've done their research. I'm sure it's going to appeal to lots of people. I feel like for me though, it just feels not ideal. The mattes I think were really nice, really pigmented, far more pigmented than I expected them to be. The shimmers I could take or leave. Ultimately it's quite a cute little palette. I feel like if I pass this on to like a younger cousin or something, they can have a play about with it and they can enjoy it, and yeah, it is what it is. It saves me having another eyeshadow palette in my collection, because even though I'm saying some of these shades feel a little bit dated and whatever, the fact is I probably also already own all of these shades. Even if those warm copper shades are about to make a massive comeback, I'm sure I have plenty of palettes that already have that shade in them, should I decide that I want to return to that. So yeah, I feel like I'm just gonna pass this on rather than it becoming another thing that I have to find space for. I should say at the moment I'm very much in a headspace of being like, I have far too much stuff. I need some really intensive declutters at the moment. I am just living in a cluttered mess at the moment quite permanently, and I'm not loving it. So I'm very much in a let's not add unless it's something I know I'm going to actually use and finish up and really enjoy. I don't want things coming in, so I'm definitely going to just pass that on. So when I'm saying I'm passing so much of that on, do I regret buying this? The answer to that is still no. The main things I really wanted out of this were the 30ml of the Advanced Night Repair and the full size, the 15ml in the eye cream. So this was £90, and I have my notes, let me tell you. 30ml in the Advanced Night Repair cost £65 on its own, and the 15ml in that eye cream cost £56. So if the set was £90 when you spent £50, I've already saved money just from getting those two items, and that's it. Literally everything else is a bonus. In this set, I'm basically going to keep the skincare items and the mascara and pass on the makeup items, but I've saved money because I know I would be buying these two at some point next year. So this was just a way of kind of stocking up and saving a bit of money. Everything else in the set is a bonus basically. So because I am such a fan of Advanced Night Repair and I like that eye cream, it still makes sense for me to have gotten this set, still saved money, and yeah, now I can pass those on and they can hopefully bring some joy to some other people. But in terms of what I bought to spend the £50 to get the set, I got this gift set, which I would definitely recommend if you've got any advanced night repair lovers in your life. This set comes with a mini cleanser, the 50ml of the advanced night repair, 5ml of the eye cream, and then the Revitalising Supreme Night Power Cream, that is a 15ml size. This entire set retails for £89. The 50ml of the advanced night repair on its own is £89. So again, my main thing was I'm going to stock up in my advanced night repair, and then everything else is just a bonus. I know I like the eye cream. The cleanser I like, not for removing makeup, but as a second cleanse, it's perfect. So I will definitely go through the cleanser both from this set and the other set. And then I've never disliked an Estee Lauder moisturiser. So that was the set that I had purchased that then enabled me to purchase the Blockbuster Gift. If you are somebody who likes advanced night repair for yourself, or if you're buying a gift for somebody who you know likes advanced night repair, this seems like a really good value for money set, so definitely worth checking out. And then the last thing that I've got to show you, basically I bought the sets in Harrods in H Beauty in Glasgow, and the reason that I decided to buy them there instead of in Boots where I would have bought the points or whatever was because they had a gift with purchase. So first of all, this bag is adorable. It's got these two little teddy bear zip pulls, which I just love. Now I'm not sure if this gift will still be in stock at the time that I'm uploading this. They were dwindling in Silverburn when I picked this up. First of all, you open it up, it's got the beautiful Harrods green on the inside, and you've got this elasticated pocket. What I really like though is you've then got this mesh pocket to like keep everything that you're putting into the bag safe. Then within the bag is another little mini travel bag. Again, we've got the bear zip pull. Bear feels really weighty. You know how I was saying in the unboxing part, like how flimsy some of the packaging of the makeup feels? Like you can kind of tell it's been made at a lower cost to like bring their cost down, because the gift is such good value for money for the consumer, that they need to try and pull back a little bit. You can tell that that's cheap packaging. This feels really not cheap packaging, so very pleased with that. In the little travel pouch, most of this is from the Renutriv range, which is like the premium range, so again really, well, I was going to say good value for money. I mean, I didn't pay for it. Well, I bought two things to get it, so I spent money to get it obviously, but it was a gift with purchase, but it's a really worthwhile one. So you've got the Renutriv eye serum, and that's 5ml. Now usually a full size eye cream is 15ml, so that's a third of a full size. Mini of the Sumptuous Extreme Mascara, which is the same mascara from the Blockbuster gift set. The Renutriv hand cream, again that's also in the Blockbuster gift set, so hopefully I like that because I've got two of them. Renutriv Rich Foaming Cleanser, Renutriv Ultimate Lift Regenerating Youth Cream, again 15ml, so a really good size. Last but not least, the Double Wear eyeliner. This is the black one, so a little mini of that. So that was what was in the gift with purchase. So should you be near a Harrods or an H Beauty, that gift is currently on. Obviously gifts with purchases are always while stocks last, so you might need to move quickly, but yeah, I feel like that was a really nice gift with purchase to be getting with things that I needed to replace my advanced night repair, and then I've stocked up with a backup for something that I know I'm going to go through, so it was just a little bonus to get the gift as well really. So yeah, that is everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it's been helpful if you were eyeing up any of these gifts, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!